Welcome to God and Country. This is Brian Teeter, and started this ministry for a couple purposes. One purpose is to honor God, and we do that by fearing God and preaching Jesus Christ and Him crucified. And we also want to honor our country. The United States of America is the greatest nation on God's green earth, and we honor it by upholding our founding fathers' ideals, and they explicitly stated those ideals in our Constitution. So that's what we do here on this ministry. I hope you enjoy it. Today, I'd like to talk about a book that's coming out, and it's called Shaken, and it's actually written by Tim Tebow, and it's because his life has highs and lows, is why he wrote this book. And this is an interview that was done by Bible Gateway. And I'm just going to read you some inserts from this. It says, this is Tim Tebow talking. There are going to be great times, and there are going to be tough times, he said. So who was I when I won the Heisman Trophy versus when I got cut 3 times? Well, maybe 4 times in the NFL. Was I a person that was praised by presidents, or the person that was debated and scrutinized by most of the media? So, who was I? Am I that person who I was at the high, or am I that person who had all those lows? The book that was released today also looks at some of Tebow's role models, and again, he states, so many people that have gone before me that I have been able to see, wow, I want that he has. I want what she has. I've seen what they have, and wow, they have peace no matter where they're at, he said. They have assurances no matter what they're going through. It was fun in this book to be able to highlight role models of mine that have been able to find a firm foundation in who they are no matter what life throws at them. Tim Tebow goes on and said that he's a people pleaser, but he also wants to share the gospel of Jesus with those around them. And he states, and quotes, you can love God and you can love people, he said. There's more to this world than money, fame, and power. You can have an impact no matter who you are, no matter what platform, no matter how big or small of a role model. There's someone watching you. There's a life that you can change. There's a life that you can impact. Tim Tebow is kind of a polarizing figure. Watching him in college, he was by far and ranked as one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time. Unfortunately for him, his style of play didn't fit well with the National Football League, and he wasn't able to make it as a quarterback in the National Football League, although he played on several teams, and he actually won several games, including one in the playoffs. He was part of that against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it's really odd that how he's treated in the press. We look at figures nowadays that are lifted up on a pedestal by the press. One in particular here recently is Colin Kaepernick, with his posture that he takes in the pregame ceremonies of the national anthem, where he'll kneel to show support and solidarity to the Black Lives movement, Black Lives Matter movement, excuse me. But Tim Tebow is just the opposite. I find it hard to find anything that he does offensive to a group of people other than offensive to the press. The press have really hounded this young man, but really he hasn't let it bother him. And I don't know if he quotes this section of the Bible for his life, but I find it interesting. It's in Romans chapter 12, and it's verses 14 through 21. And it says, "Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice, and weep with those who weep. Be of the same mind towards one another. Do not set your mind on high things, but associate with the humble. Do not be wise in your own opinion. Repay no one evil for evil. Have regard for good things in the sight of all men. If it is possible, as much as depends on you, live peaceably with all men. Beloved, do not avenge yourself, but rather give place to wrath. For it is written, 'Vengeance is mine, I will repay,' says the Lord. Therefore, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him a drink. For in doing so you will heap coals of fire on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." And you can kind of see that, I think, in the press these days. They try to find so many ways to come after Tim Tebow. Here recently, at one of his minor league, I don't know if it was a game or batting practice, a fan had fallen out and had actually went into seizures, and Tim Tebow went over to that person and stood by him and touched him and prayed with him, and all the press had a field day with that, and Tim Tebow wasn't trying to bring attention to himself, but he was trying to use what he knows, and he knows that God has a healing hand, and that's what he was praying for. And the same with him being on the airline when a passenger fell out, and they were doing CPR on this passenger, and he came to the family and he sat down with them and he prayed with them, and the press had a field day with that, saying that he was trying to interject himself into the situation, but he was not really. He was trying to comfort the family and to go a step farther, which I doubt if anybody on that plane other than Tim Tebow would have done. He actually went to the hospital after the family had and the person that fell out was taken to the hospital, and I believe that person had passed away. And Tim Tebow was there, and he prayed with the family again, and he was with the family after it happened, and that's a mark of a true Christian, and that's something that we all should aspire to look up to, and that's what the title of this section is today: is behave like a Christian. What would a Christian do in that situation? And finally, I like to read a verse from Philippians 4, chapter 4, verse 8. It says, "Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things." And I think you can kind of see that in Mr. Tebow's life and what he does. He's even in college, he was very humble. He was very, he was adamant about his faith. He was, again, what really, I guess, polarized him during his college footballs days was having the black tape under your eyes, and on it had John 3:16 as a verse to read, and people were questioning his faith at that time. Was this all a show? And I think throughout the years, through his years at Florida and then with the Denver Broncos, and then his other quick stops with the Jets and with New England Patriots, I think he proved that he was there to try. He was trying hard. He was doing it all for the glory of God. And when he was cut, he had no evil, no bad feelings towards the organizations, and he went on his way. And then he decided to try his hand in another sport, which every God-giving American has the opportunity to do. Yet he was again made fun of and ridiculed for his choice of trying to go into baseball. And I thought it was fitting. His first pitch that he saw in an actual game he hit a home run on, and the press had a field day with that because it was a horrible pitch. It was high. He shouldn't even have swung at it, and look how he swung. But you know what? He hit a home run on the first pitch, and I think that kind of rubbing those coals on top of their heads, the press's heads, and just gave them more fodder to feed on. But they can't take away who Tim Tebow is, and I think he's a true model of what a Christian should be and act like. Now, of course, I don't know what's in Tim Tebow's heart. Only God knows what's in his heart. But from what we see, from the light that he puts off, I think it's a good heart. So I want to thank you for listening today again. I welcome any opinions that you might have. This is posted on my Facebook page, and please share it. I'm posting it to my friends, but if you can share it on your page and that can get out to your friends that maybe I'm not associated with, I welcome that. It's also on YouTube. If you want to look for God and Country, it's on YouTube. And if you have any questions, you can definitely post something on my Facebook, or you can email me at bteeter1@hotmail.com. I'd love to carry a conversation with you on any subject. And again, thank you for your time.